Welcome to the sixth video of this series on advocacy planning training. This video will cover three topics. First, a timeline. When do things need to happen? Second, roles and responsibilities. In other words, who needs to do what? And third, resources and assets. What do we have and what do we need? Ensuring that your timeline is relevant and realistic is important in determining the success of your advocacy. Normally, timelines are naturally set by you and your team. However, it's important for you to consider the following while determining a timeline. Moments and opportunities for influence. These can be, for example, when Parliament meets for a certain legislature review or is busy with a draft review. Mark these occasions in your calendar and be prepared for them with the evidence and access needed. Important public holidays or festivals, and times that the offices of important decision makers are closed or they are out of reach. Dates of upcoming elections. There might be a short while in the build-up and after an election that government officials do not work at the same capacity as usual. Elections sometimes also disrupt other areas of service delivery, traffic and access to certain locations. National or international calendar for momentous and important dates. For example, International Day of HIV Awareness, or Youth Day, or Women's Day, or Trans Day of Remembrance. Dates such as these might be a good link to or entry point for your advocacy goal, as you could advocate for your issue as it relates to these important dates. Personal time constraints. In your advocacy team includes a number of persons who are staff at other organizations. Consider their workload and have a realistic discussion about the times allocated to them. Roles and responsibilities. Different partners will have different roles. These need to be discussed openly. Ensure that everyone is in agreement from the very beginning on what their role will be, so there is no confusion or disappointment later on. Some advocacy projects, especially if people from more than one organization are involved, need to be seen as a partnership or a collaboration, with clear communication between all partners involved. Partnerships and collaborations. Partnerships are a powerful tool in strategic advocacy. Often we may feel we need to move alone to move fast. Taking the time to carefully plan collaborations that will add to the legitimacy, capacity, skills and momentum of your work is an essential step in planning your advocacy. You can form formal partnerships using documents such as MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding. You could also form more informal coalitions with a shared goal that meet regularly and tap into their own areas of expertise to move the issue forward. Regardless of what form of partnership you choose to form or what you call it, the most important thing is to have conversations about collaboration that go into necessary detail and take minutes or document the decisions that are agreed upon. Work plans. A written work plan encourages you to think through what you want to achieve and break the project into smaller tasks in a visual way. A work plan is a written document designed to streamline a project. Its purpose is to create a visual reference for activities needed to achieve each objective and the team members who are responsible for each area. A work plan is an important tool in the management of the project as it helps to assign tasks, manage workflow and track the various steps, milestones and deadlines. A work plan often has a duration of 6 to 12 months. Work planning sets the stage for program implementation. Once you have your long, intermediate and short-term goals written down in the work plan, it is easier to make an inventory of the resources you will need in terms of strategy and planning, money, facilities and allies, as well as the assets you already have. Resources for advocacy may be very different from those needed to run service programs in the community. You may not have much cash, but you might be rich in other resources, especially people. Your list of available resources will vary according to the size of your group and its needs, but might include any of the following: funds, included in-kind contributions, balanced against expenses. People who are already available, both staff and volunteers, and their skills, lawyers, human rights advocates, medical professionals, and other activists who have previously engaged in the level of advocacy your goal requires. Basically, any skilled person in the field of your advocacy topic. People you expect to be available, contacts, for example, media resources, facilities, for example, access to transportation, computers and meeting rooms, access to information archives or libraries. As advocacy can be stressful, make sure your assets are solidly in place. Planning your resources and assets. The simplest way to plan is to write out a list of resources and assets in a binder or a computer file so that you can add new ones as you go along. Suggested headings include funds, people presently available and expected to be available, useful community contacts, facilities, and assets to other resources. Budgeting. A budget gives a clear picture of all expenditures involved in carrying out your work. The project description provides a picture of your proposal using words, whereas the budget further refines that picture using numbers. Don't be intimidated by budgets. A budget is simply a description of your project in numbers. The importance of budgeting. Budgeting shows where you want to go and how you want to get there. It serves as a tool for checkpoints along the way. You will need a budget if you need to fundraise to pay for your advocacy plan. Allows you to spot trouble areas and devise plans to address them. Provides a benchmark for donors to grade your performance against projections. There should be two main sections in every budget. While there is many ways to organize a budget, most consist of two main sections: income and expenditure. Income includes all sources of project funding, grants, donations, the value of in-kind gifts, the value of volunteer hours, earned income, matching funds, and so on. Expenditures or expenses specify how and where that money will be spent. Expenditures may be itemized, summarized by category, activity, and so on. 10 quick tips for writing a great budget. Make sure you have all the correct numbers. Choose one format and stick with it. Check the math more than once. Calculate realistically. Make sure you include everything. Make budget writing a group activity. Think about inflation and exchange rates. Explain extraordinary costs. Have someone proofread your budget in the context of your proposal. Don't leave it until the last minute. The final video will take you through risk analysis and management and monitoring and evaluation.